Hey, Bulls and Bears, let's talk about this amazing debt snowball that's engulfing millions of Americans and actually people across the globe. But today, specifically, we're going to talk about six-figure income earners living paycheck to paycheck, and in some cases, as we'll hear in a minute, some cases having nearly $1 million in debt. We're going to listen to a phone call here from a couple calling into the Dave Ramsey Show with nearly $1 million in debt. Pretty amazing here. But first, let's talk about this study that came out where over half of income earners or six-figure income earners are living paycheck to paycheck. That's actually up 42% from just 1 year ago. So this debt snowball is getting out of control. It's getting more people rolled up into it, including six-figure income earners. I always used to wonder when I heard about somebody that I knew was pretty rich and famous having to file bankruptcy. Like we've heard stories about athletes filing bankruptcies, and we see their contracts, right? Some of these professional athletes making several $1 millions a year. So how does someone like that end up in bankruptcy? Well, I think it's pretty simple. When someone makes a lot of money, they want to look like they're making a lot of money. So are they going to go out and buy a Kia Optima for a vehicle? Are they going to go out and buy a trailer in a trailer park? No, they're going to buy the biggest home they could possibly afford and probably not pay cash, because if they limit themselves to what they can buy for cash, that's going to be a smaller house. But if they get a bigger house and finance it, of course, they're going to look like even more successful than they really are. So I think a lot of people do that, not just rich people, but just people in general. They want to look like they're successful even when they're not. And when they are successful, they want to look even more successful. So it's a never-ending game. No matter how much money you have, it seems like everybody's always going to try to outdo the next person or try to look better than they really are. But here's the study. But let's take a listen to this phone call. This was a call into the Dave Ramsey Show, and listen to the amount of debt that this couple has. And it's pretty funny, actually. Look at the expression on Mr. Ramsey's face, too, as he's listening to this caller describe the amount of debt.
We have probably just under $1 million in debt, and we want to know how to get debt-free without filing bankruptcy.
Okay. How much of that is a mortgage?
The mortgage, about $210,000.
So you have $600,000 in what?
$335,000 is about in student loans. We both have advanced degrees, and then the rest is really credit cards and personal loans.
So you have $300,000 of credit cards and personal loans?
We have about $335,000 student loans and about $136,000 in credit cards, $44,000 personal loans, and $35,000 car loans.
Okay. How old are you all?
I'm 29.
Okay. So what in the world?
Okay, a lot of debt, obviously. We're going to play the rest of it here. Now, I actually disagree with Mr. Ramsey's conclusion here. I agree with him that it's a lot of debt. It's mind-blowing. But he basically said you're going to have to change your lifestyle. You're going to have to stop spending. Now, the caller did ask how to get rid of this debt without having to file bankruptcy, obviously. But I would actually encourage them to think about filing bankruptcy, because you're going to have to cut back so much. And to pay off that much debt, you're going to have to basically live like a poor person, basically. All right, let's continue to listen.
Yeah.
Are you both on this, or is this just one of you that's completely lost your mind?
Well, I have the majority of the student loans, and he has the majority of the credit cards. My credit card debt is not great.
Okay, so why does he at 29 years old run up $100,000 in credit?
And it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And
okay, so you both have advanced degrees. What are your degrees in?
We do. So I have a degree in both of our advanced degrees. No, he has an MBA, and I have an advanced degree in policy. I work in the government, and we actually both do now at this point, actually.
Okay, so your household income is what?
Our household income is about $230,000.
Okay, all right. Is there recognition on both of your parts how absurd this situation is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, there is.
Right.
So I think we're both a bit scared and want to do anything we can to avoid.
Okay, great. Then I'm on your team. I can skip that step. Okay, go ahead.
After that, Dave Ramsey goes into how they really need to cut back. They're going to have to drastically cut their spending. No more vacations, no more traveling, no more dining out, etc. which I disagree with. But the caller was asking how to get rid of the debt without having to file bankruptcy. But it should be obvious. Stop spending, start saving, or start saving more of your income to pay down the debt instead of traveling. But people don't want to do that. I mean, you're going to have to go several years with living like you're poor or living like you're broke to pay off that amount of debt. Most people don't want to do that. Most people would just file bankruptcy. Now, some people have a moral problem with filing bankruptcy. They say, "Oh, I racked up this debt. It's just only fair that I pay it off. I'm not going to file bankruptcy. It's not moral. It's not correct." Well, when you look at how our system of money puts people in debt, I mean, I wouldn't feel guilty at all about having to file bankruptcy. In fact, there's a lot of people that have no choice, and it's not even their fault. In some cases, they have a medical issue that's not their fault, and they have a tremendous amount of bills, and they have to do it. So I wouldn't feel bad about filing bankruptcy. All of the money that we're just creating out of thin air, sending all over the world. So I wouldn't hesitate for a second or feel a bit guilty about filing bankruptcy and getting rid of this debt that's basically conjured out of nothing in the first place. When you look at debt, I mean, when a bank gives out a loan, they're typing up digits that they don't have. They're typing up money they don't have, putting it in the form of debt to the borrower, but they're not working for that money. It's conjured out of thin air. Since we came off the gold standard in 1971, that's the basis of our monetary system, and that's the format of our money now. I mean, believe it or not, like it or not, that's the truth. So again, why feel guilty about hitting the delete button on this, these digital numbers, aka debt? I wouldn't feel guilty at all about it, but for some reason, this caller into the show wanted to figure out how to pay it off without having to file bankruptcy. Okay, so maybe she feels like she's taking the moral high road, but again, I would just file bankruptcy. In fact, I know people personally that filed bankruptcy, and their lifestyles didn't change that much. They ended up getting a credit card within, I think, 60 days of filing the bankruptcy. For now, they're able to pay it off in full each month because they got rid of all their debt. So for now, they're still doing well. They got to keep their cars. They got to keep their house. Sometimes filing bankruptcy is not the life changer that people think it is. It's going to ding your credit score for a while, and it's going to be on your credit report for 10 years, but you're still going to live pretty good. In most cases, you're not going to miss a meal. You're not going to lose your car. You're not going to lose your house. Now, speaking of someone taking on a lot of debt that you might not expect, I was actually talking to a client the other day, and their son is 19 years old, ended up getting a $10,000 credit card offer, not just an offer, ended up getting the credit card with a $10,000 limit. Got approved for the credit card, got a $10,000 limit. It was a Discover card, if I'm not mistaken. 19 years old. She said he was working an entry-level job. She didn't tell me exactly how much he made, but a 19-year-old at an entry-level job, you can imagine probably how much or how little that the person's making with a $10,000 credit limit. So that just goes to show you why there's such high prices out there. You're having people going out and buying things that they can't afford. You have people running up almost $1 million in debt. In this case, the couple that we heard the phone call from, we heard from the missus in that relationship. This is why the cost of living is so high. And when people can just erase the money or delete the money in bankruptcy, when banks can give out money they don't have, see, all this leads to this enormous cost of living, rising prices, inflation, whatever you want to call it. So this is the problem. That's why ultimately we're going to go back to sound money. So what do we think about that phone call, people? What do we think about that scenario? Do you agree with me that people always want to look even better off or wealthier than they really are? The scenario where you have a multi-million-dollar athlete filing bankruptcy. I think we've all heard of those cases. The caller there, 6 figures in debt. What's going on with that? Please let me know down in the comments. I hope everybody here enjoyed this report. Please give a like and subscribe if you'd like to keep this channel operational. Thank you very much. Keep stacking peace.